Now, what we're going to be doing here is going over the AM schedule real quick, because this is what we give when we are doing some type of owner financing with the buyers. I won't get into all the legal stuff that goes into this, but when I'm doing a land deal, I like for them to have it, and I have them sign a copy. That's why the signatures are on that page in the autofill, where we copy and paste this and put it into the autofill documents for the seller financing package. All right, so to make this work, and I have a little bit of a difference here, but you can open this AM schedule up from the link that's in the members area, and you can retype their name here. You can come in here and adjust the loan amount and the interest rate, and you'll physically, are putting these numbers in here, $500 and the start date of the loan. So that will be the first payment that they owe. The rest of this you're going to just fill out manually, and we'll get to that in a second. Over here is sometimes we do a deal where we're taking in extra down payment. Maybe we worked a deal in this example. I'm taking 3 months of down payment of $1,000 a month, and then starting with July, the payments then go to the amortization schedule that we have here. So there's no interest on this, there's nothing on this, but interest is adding up on this because we're having to wait out to the July. So it's kind of a creative way of doing it, and I find myself doing it a lot because people like it. And so you can I'm just over here, just creating the dates over here physically, just manually, and putting in the payments. And this has nothing to do, it doesn't calculate or anything. This is just a side note to make it clear to your buyer what they're making, what payments they're making, and what month and what day. So the last part of this is these numbers here, total interest paid. Obviously they're not paying that. That's because this is by default out, it extends way down to 360 months. So what you have to do is you have to come in here, find the last month where there's a positive number, and that means that on this month a $500 payment was paid and this is a balance. Okay, so what you wanted to do is you wanted to drop one below that. So this allows you to take the rest of that payment, or you can write also into your financing agreement that all of the payment is due on the last payment, which is kind of how it's defaulted out. So you could just make it, make that the last payment. Now they owe $711, but generally the best way is to go ahead and extend it to the extra one, and they'll be paying. They won't pay a full 500 here. So you'll subtract this amount right here from the 500 and just overwrite this in here, and that will fix the problem. But what you need to do is you need to delete all this. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and just hit the delete. Oh, shift the cells up. Okay, so now we have that. All right, so now it's coming down here. And this is actually all that's printed out, just this piece right here. So let's take a look at how you finish this off down here. So just come in here and just copy this number. Now this is a formula, so the easiest way to do this is to copy it and come over here into this area, and then when you paste it, don't paste this because you get a formula, paste the actual value, and so you'll see it turned it to the 221, and then you want to zero these out because there's no interest being gathered. All right, and just so you have zero basically down here, and that just shows their last payment. Now this yellow thing is over here just so when we print this out for them and for us, it allows them to every time they make a payment to write that in, and it also allows us when we receive a payment. So you can take your copy and put it right into a payment structure book, and that way you've got this. It's just the easiest way to take in payments, and so you can follow along. And if they overpay, because some of them will, maybe they come in here and pay $1,000 this month. So you want to put that amount in there, and then it will because it doesn't. It adjusts the interest on the rest of this. And so this is kind of built to allow that to happen. So if they made a payment of $500 here, that means they're making a payment of $500 on $1,000. That means they made a payment of $1,000 here. And you could open this schedule back up and just put in $1,000 or whatever they paid, and you'll see everything else change down here. But what it does is this copies the this field copies whatever was in the field above. That's how these things work. So you've got to change this back to 500. So you just manually just type back in 500 again, and the rest of them go back in. But it will have correctly adjusted over here so that the balance is maintained. Okay, so now instead of being paid off in that, in December 2020, it's now being paid off way back up here. So literally they saved the payment down here. So they owe $90 on this payment. And so you would do the same thing, copy that payment and bring it over here, and then zap out that. And then you could leave this line in there just so you know the original structure, but everything's kind of just zero everything out. So now you'd zero that out. You'd copy this one, bring it over here, paste it as a 1, 2, 3, the value. All right, and then zero this and zero that. All right, so that's your new AM schedule. Okay, that should be 0. Okay, so that's how you can keep up with it and adjust it, and you know what's going on. In the same way, if somebody doesn't pay, and maybe they paid 0 this month. Okay, so we've got so the ending balance for this month is going to be, after that 1,000 was paid, was 11,003. But if they paid 0 there, let's enter that. All right. So it cost them 100 extra. So at the end of that month, they actually owed 12,000. So it was, of course, that's because we wiped out a whole 1,000 off of that. But that's how you can adjust your payment. So whatever payment they pay, put it in here, and it's just going to adjust naturally. And then make sure you're going back to the 500 as your normal amortization. All right, well, I think that does it for this video.